You think she's telling you what she needs. But she's not. She can't. Because the moment she tells you, it loses all value. You're walking through a minefield blindfolded, and every step you take is wrong. The relationship is dying. And you don't even know what you're missing. Niccolò Machiavelli understood something about human nature that modern society desperately tries to bury. He wrote, "Men judge generally more by the eye than by the hand. For everyone can see but few can feel." He meant that what people say they want and what their nature actually craves are two completely different things. There are psychological needs women carry that are so deeply buried, so socially unacceptable, that they will never articulate them to you. Not because they're manipulative, but because admitting these needs would shatter the illusion of who they believe they should be. Machiavelli would tell you, ignore what people claim they want. Watch what they respond to. Watch what makes them stay. Watch what makes them leave. The body never lies even when the mouth does. You do everything right. You listen. You remember the small things. You show up. You're loyal. You're everything the Instagram quotes say you should be. And yet something is off. She's distant. The intimacy is fading. She picks fights over nothing. She says, "I'm fine," but her eyes are empty. You ask what's wrong, and she says she doesn't know. But here's the truth she can't tell you: she does know. Deep down, she knows exactly what's missing. You try harder. You buy flowers. You plan dates. You sacrifice your time, your energy, your peace. You think if you just give more, she'll finally be satisfied. But watch what happens. The more you give, the less she respects you. The more you sacrifice, the more she withdraws. The kinder you become, the colder she gets. You're bleeding yourself dry trying to fill a cup, but you don't know the cup has 7 holes. And every drop you pour in leaks out through needs you never knew existed. Needs she'll never name. Today we're going to perform surgery on the invisible. We're going to expose the 7 emotional needs women hide from you. These are backed by evolutionary psychology, by attachment theory, by decades of research. But no one talks about them because they're uncomfortable. This is not a list of nice things to do. This is a weapon. This is the blueprint to female psychology that operates beneath her conscious awareness. Once you see these 7 needs, you cannot unsee them. But be warned, this knowledge comes with a price. You'll realize how many men are playing a game they'll never win. And you'll have to decide whether you're strong enough to meet these needs or wise enough to walk away. Women are not lying when they say they want communication and emotional availability. They genuinely believe that's what they want. But beliefs and biology are not the same thing. Human beings evolved over millions of years where survival depended on choosing the right mate. For women, a bad choice meant death. So nature built a psychological screening system so sophisticated that it operates entirely beneath conscious thought. These 7 needs are the hidden variables in that algorithm. They are the test you're failing without knowing you're being tested. They are the reasons she can love you but not desire you. You've been trying to win a game without knowing the rules. That ends now. Need 1. The need to feel emotionally unsafe in the right way. Listen carefully. This one will destroy everything you think you know. Women don't want to feel comfortable with you. Comfort is what they feel with their therapist, their brother. Comfort is the death of desire. What they actually need is a specific kind of emotional danger. Not abuse, but psychological edge. The feeling that you are slightly unpredictable. That you have a darkness they haven't fully mapped. That beneath your calm surface that there's intensity they can't control. Watch the early stages of relationships. She's obsessed. She can't stop thinking about you. What? Because you're a mystery. You're a challenge. Her brain is lighting up trying to decode you, predict you, possess you. But then what do most men.do? They reveal everything. They become an open book. They think transparency builds trust. And it does, but it kills desire. The moment you become fully known, fully predictable, fully safe, something in her goes dead. Machiavelli wrote, "Men are so simple that he who deceives will always find those who allow themselves to be deceived." Mystery is power. The moment you show all your cards, you lose your leverage. Psychology tells us, women are attracted to men who make them feel slightly off balance. Not through chaos but through controlled withholding of full emotional availability. You give her 80%, never 100. You remain a puzzle she's constantly trying to solve. When you fail to meet this need, when you become completely transparent, she doesn't think he's too available. She just feels creeping boredom. A sense that there's nothing left to discover. And her attraction begins its slow death. The harsh truth: the moment you need her more than she needs you is the moment you become emotionally safe. And emotional safety is the graveyard of passion. Need 2. The need to submit without ever admitting it. This is the need that will get this video censored. But psychology doesn't care about ideology. And neither does her body. Women need to feel that you are stronger than they are. Not physically. Psychologically stronger. Emotionally stronger. Stronger in your frame, your purpose, your conviction. They need to feel that in the battle of wills, you will win. This contradicts everything. But when women come home, a different program runs. Women with the highest independence in their public lives often crave the most dominance in their intimate relationships. The stronger she is in the world, the more she needs to surrender somewhere. But here's the trap. They think dominance is about being loud, aggressive, controlling. It's not. Real dominance is calm. It's the quiet certainty that your frame is unshakable. It's the ability to say no and mean it. Watch what happens when she tests you. She creates drama. She starts a fight. She pushes boundaries. Why? Because she's asking, are you solid? Can I break you? Most men fold. They apologize. They try to de-escalate by becoming smaller. And every time they do, she loses respect. Her body produces less oxytocin. Her attraction fades. The men who meet this need don't fight her. They simply hold their ground. They let her storm crash against them and they don't move. And in that immovability she finds safety to surrender. Sun Tzu said, "Supreme excellence consists in breaking the enemy's resistance without fighting. You win by not needing to win." Your frame is so solid that her attempts to shake it become exhausting for her, not you. When you fail to meet this need, she becomes masculine. She becomes the decision maker. And resenting you for it becomes as natural as breathing. The brutal reality, she will never tell you she needs you to dominate. The moment she has to ask is the moment it loses all value. Stop for a moment. Breathe. I know this is heavy. I know there's a voice saying, this is manipulation. This is toxic. Kill that voice. That voice is your social conditioning. You're not learning how to manipulate women. You're learning the game they've been playing on you without your knowledge. Awareness is not cruelty. Awareness is survival. We've covered 2 needs. We have 5 more. And each one gets darker. If you're still here, you're not like the others. Let's go deeper. Need 3, the need to feel chosen again and again. You chose her once. You committed. You said, I choose you. And she felt it. But that feeling has a half-life. It fades. Because her biology is running a constant audit. Does he still choose me? Or am I just the path of least resistance? This need is rooted in evolutionary paranoia. Female psychology evolved to be hypervigilant to signs of waning investment. So she needs proof. Constant proof. Not through words. Through action. Through continued evidence that you are actively choosing her. Watch what happens when you stop pursuing. When you stop initiating dates. Stop initiating sex. She doesn't think, he's comfortable. Her subconscious thinks, he's settling. I'm the default, not the choice. And here's the cruelty, she will never ask for it. Because if she has to ask you to choose her, it means you're not choosing her. Machiavelli understood that commitment is not enough. She needs to feel that you are continuously recommitting, continuously rechoosing, every single day. The men who meet this need never stop dating their woman. Never stop pursuing. They understand that the hunt doesn't end at commitment. The hunt is the price of maintaining desire. When you fail, she begins checking your phone. Testing your loyalty. Creating drama to see if you'll still fight for her. Not because she's crazy. Because her biology is screaming that your investment is fading. The cold truth, she doesn't want to feel like your wife. She wants to feel like your mistress. The one you can't stop thinking about. Need 4, the need for emotional protection, not just physical. You think protection means keeping her safe from physical harm. And you're willing to die for that. But that's not what she needs most. She needs protection from emotional harm. From judgment. From cruelty. From the violence of other people's opinions. And most of all, from her own tendency toward self-destruction. Women carry emotional weight that men don't understand. They operate in a social matrix, where their value is constantly evaluated and attacked. Their appearance, their choices, their worth. When she comes home, she's looking for someone who will actively defend the perimeter of her emotional world. Someone who says, this far, no further. But watch what most men do when someone disrespects her. When his mother criticizes. When friends make jokes. He stays silent. He says, just ignore it. And every time he fails the test. Because his silence tells her, you're on your own. Your emotional safety is not worth the discomfort of confrontation. The men who meet this need don't avoid conflict. They draw clear. unshakable boundaries. They tell their mother to back off. They correct their friends. They shut down disrespect instantly and publicly. When you fail to meet this need, she doesn't feel safe with you. Not physically she knows you'd fight. But emotionally, she knows she's alone. The harsh lesson: she will never ask you to defend her. If she has to ask, you've already failed. Need 5. The need to be seen as good despite her darkness. Every woman carries shame. Shame about her body, her past, her desires. She's jealous. She's petty. She's manipulative. She has thoughts that would horrify you, and she needs you to see all of this, the shadow, the ugliness, the parts she hides, and still decide she's good. Not excuse it, not ignore it, but see it fully and conclude, you are still worthy. Nietzsche wrote, one must still have chaos in oneself to give birth to a dancing star. Women know they carry chaos. They need a man who can handle their darkness without flinching, without judgment. Watch what happens when she shows you her worst self. When she's cruel. When she's irrational. Most men recoil. They punish her. They bring it up in future fights, and every time she learns, I can't be real with you. I have to perform. I have to hide. And the hiding kills intimacy. Kills trust. The men who meet this need have strength to face reality without illusion. They see her shadow and don't run. They simply witness it and say through actions, I see you. All of you. And you're still mine. When you fail, she becomes a performance. She shows you only the parts she thinks you can handle. And the real her stays locked away. The uncomfortable reality: she doesn't need you to think she's perfect. She needs you to know she's not in love her anyway. I see you. Right now, feeling something shift. Because these aren't theories. These are the exact patterns you've lived. Maybe you're angry. Maybe you're thinking, this is exhausting. You're right. It is. But so is drowning. So is losing relationship after relationship. You have a choice. Reject this knowledge and go back to the comfortable lie. Or accept that this is the game and learn to play it. We have 2 needs left. These final 2 separate the men who keep women from the men who lose them. Need 6. The need to feel your absence would matter. Here's a question that haunts every woman. If I disappeared tomorrow, would his life actually change? Or would he just find another woman? She needs to feel irreplaceable. Not in a possessive way. But in the deep way that confirms her life has meaning. In yours. That losing her would be a wound, not an inconvenience. This is rooted in mortality awareness. Women understand impermanence. They live knowing beauty fades, youth is temporary. And they need evidence that they matter enough to be remembered. Watch what happens when you treat her as replaceable. When you compare her to other women. When you're too independent, too unbothered by her presence or absence. She doesn't think, he's strong. She thinks, I don't matter. And the moment she concludes that, she starts leaving. Not dramatically. But slowly, cell by cell, she detaches. The men who meet this need show their woman, through action, that she is woven into the fabric of their life. That her absence would create a hole nothing could fill. Not through neediness, through reverence. When you fail, she begins testing in dark ways. She withdraws to see if you notice. She threatens to leave to see if you fight. And if you don't, she learns she doesn't matter. The brutal lesson: if she doesn't matter, if she is replaceable to you, you're not in love. You're inconvenience. And she feels it. She always feels it. Need 7. The need to surrender without losing herself. This is the paradox that breaks most relationships. The final need. The deepest one. She needs to surrender to you. Fully. To let go of control, of hypervigilance. She wants to fall into you the way a person falls into sleep, completely, trustingly. But she can only do this if she trusts that surrendering won't mean erasure. That giving herself to you won't mean losing herself. Most men don't understand this balance. They either demand total submission and crush her spirit, or they offer no structure and leave her drowning in anxiety. Machiavelli wrote, one must be a fox to recognize traps and a lion to frighten wolves. In relationships you must be both. Strong enough that she can surrender. Wise enough that she can trust you won't abuse it. Women are in constant decision-making exhaustion. They carry the emotional labor, the planning, the management. Their nervous system is in perpetual activation. What they crave is the ability to turn that off. To exist where they don't have to lead or control. Where they can just be. Where someone else is carrying the weight. But this only works if you're actually competent. If your leadership doesn't lead her off a cliff. She can only surrender if she trusts your judgment. And trust is earned through pattern. The men who meet this need create what psychologists call secure attachment. Through reliability. through demonstrating their word means something. When you fail, she cannot relax. She has to monitor you, manage you. And managing you makes her your mother, not your woman. And mothers are not sexually attracted to their children. The final truth, she doesn't want to lead you. She wants to follow someone worth following. Be that someone or watch her become someone else's to lead. But here's the question you haven't asked yet. What if you're reading this and realizing you don't actually want to meet these needs? What if the effort feels like too much? What if you're thinking, this is exhausting. This is a game I don't want to play. That's fair. But then ask yourself a harder question. What if the problem isn't that these needs exist? What if the problem is that you're not capable of meeting them? What if every relationship you've lost wasn't because she was broken, but because you were weak? I'm not giving you the answer. That's a mirror you have to look into alone. Here's what happens now. When you start applying this knowledge, people will call you manipulative. They'll say that you're playing games. Good. Let them. Because what the weak call manipulation, the wise call leadership. What society calls toxic, biology calls attractive. You're transitioning from boy to man. From someone who reacts to women's emotions to someone who creates the emotional environment. When you stop apologizing for having standards. When you stop pretending effort equals results and start focusing on strategy, everything changes. Your relationships stop being exhausting. She stops testing you. She stops creating drama. She stops withdrawing. You become what Machiavelli called the prince, not through cruelty but through clarity. You build an empire of peace within yourself, and she finds sanctuary in that peace. You're no longer the savior. You're the sovereign. You set the standard. You decide who gets access. And those who meet your standards thrive. Those who don't leave. And you're at peace with both outcomes. Listen to me. This video will get buried. The algorithm hates content that challenges the narrative. But if it helped you, you have a responsibility. Subscribe. Turn on notifications. Because this is only what I can show publicly. There are truths darker than this. But YouTube censors them. Behind the join button, there's content that goes deeper. That teaches you not just what women need, but how to decide which women are worthy of your effort. Most men won't click it. They'll watch this, feel uncomfortable, and go back to ignorance. They'll keep losing women and never know why. But you're not most men. You're still here. The choice is yours. Stay blind and comfortable. Or see clearly and build power. The truth doesn't care if you're ready for it. It only cares if you're strong enough to handle it.